Hello, good morning. Welcome to episode number 2 of Unchurched. Hi, Dani.
What's up, Mandee? Good morning.
Good morning. Just enjoying my lovely vibe with you. Dani and I got to jam and do a little of our own unchurched church before we decided to hop on live with all of you. And we're so excited to be here and honored that you're with us. If you're tuning in and if you can see us on Facebook, just say hello, give us a like, give us a share, a follow. We're so excited that you're here with us. And I'm excited for this beautiful container that we've created. Dani, would you mind sharing with our listeners a little bit about this container and what it is?
This is our little container for everyone to either come undone or be undone, but in like this really holy little way. I think that once you start figuring everything out, it's chaotic, to put it lightly, but you do fall apart. Like whenever everything that you've ever believed in the big scheme and the little scheme, whenever you open your eyes up to everything, you fall apart. And we've danced around with like the energy of being held, this idea of the energy of being unchurched, like all of the conditioning, whether it was church or school or home or your country, like whatever norms were put on you, like it's taken a lot of undoing them for us to step into who we really are and figure out why we're really here. And Mandee and I have both really needed it. We have found it in each other and found it in our communities, and we just wanted to offer that out to whoever else may need it, because whenever we take the temperature of those around us, a lot of people need it. So that's why we're here.
That's why we're here. And right now we're in the middle of Mercury retrograde. We're in the middle of winter in the north. We are going through a Venus retrograde. There is so much happening collectively in the world. There are so many energies that are present, that are collective, that people are trying to navigate within their own lives, within the greater beings. And it's not been the easiest dance. And we want everyone to know that like you are supported through this and you're not crazy for all of these really neat intuitive things that are coming through, and aha moments, and wanting to change and grow and do better, connect with your spirituality, no matter how you were raised. There's a lot of fear associated with spirituality, and we're here to kind of create a safe container and talk about some of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I was just checking it out. Looks like we're live on Facebook and we're streaming. So we're doing good there. What should we jam about today, Dani?
Well, I know that a constant with my life has been fear. And then we pulled some cards earlier and they dealt with fear. And then you were looking at a page, I think, that had to deal with some fear. So I think we've got a message that's dying to come through.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about fear today because it is this very large energy that has a lot of power over us and who we decide to be and show up in the world. And some of that fear comes from actual experience, from things that have happened to us or around us or for us. And some of that can come from our own minds and creating things about what might happen or could happen or what did happen. And fear ends up taking over a little bit and hijacking our sweetness of life, hijacking our presence ultimately. The way that spirit has shown it to me, which is kind of cool, is that when we choose to incarnate and we come on down here to Earth School, there's all these levels of feelings, and these feelings have different resonance to them, and they're actually measurable by science, and it's really cool. And one of the highest vibrations that you can possibly feel is ecstasy and joy and love and peace and contentment, and all of these wonderful feelings are all of the higher ones that we can feel. Gratitude is one of the highest. So what happens is we think of it as kind of a little bit of a hierarchy, and we start up here in bliss and ecstasy and excitement and joy and love and peace and contentment. And then we get into these feelings of overwhelm. Overwhelm is considered anything that are kind of those ickier, yuckier feelings. Now we live in this amazing realm with so much polarity, and we need to experience the separations and the pendulum swing and how that balances. However, we tend to get a little stuck in overwhelm, all of us as humans, and it's much easier for us to stay in these lower vibrational feelings, which are considered overwhelm, grief, shame, anxiety, jealousy, resentment, fear, anything that makes us feel icky. Fear, guilt, and shame are some of the lowest ones that we can possibly feel. And so what happens is when we're constantly kind of in these loops, or we're associated with energy that is going to bring up fear in us, then we vibrate a little lower. And when we're in any sense of overwhelm, our angels, the universe, they want to give us everything that we can, whether it's an aha moment within our own life, whether it's a call from a friend, whether it's the money that you need, whatever it is that you're trying to call in at this time. If the angels and the universe can tell or see and feel ultimately that we're overwhelmed, they're like, oh no, my being, I love you. Like, Mandee, I love you so much. And I'd love to give you a bunch of money, but you're overwhelmed. So your energy is telling me you can't receive and you can't bring anything else in. So what happens is fear, as that plays over and over and over again, it kind of numbs us out to being able to receive, to being able to stay present. We pulled a couple of cards, and I'll actually share them. These are from the Rebecca Campbell Starseed Oracle deck, which I just love this deck. It's absolutely amazing. And the two cards that came up were the Great Severing, which is Mars energy, anger, conflict, and softening to love, as well as karmic relationships, Orion polarity, soul growth, conflict. Both of these talked a lot about, fear and what that looks like, and how a lot of times when we have fear, it keeps us from softening to love. It keeps us from opening up. It makes us go into our shell instead of allowing ourselves to break open and to expand open. And there's actually a really great, in this book too, I'm going to share, which we'll do this thing that I picked first, but there's actually an amazing poem in here that I'd love to share right now. That's helped me. It's helped rock me and soothe me. And it's helped so many people that I know. And it's called I Pray That You Hit Rock Bottom by Rebecca Campbell. I pray that you hit rock bottom, the most painful time in your life. I pray that you feel alone, isolated, deserted. And you discover that what you thought was rock bottom is actually a ledge. So you come crashing down even further. And as you land, you are cracked open into a billion pieces. And you have no idea how to put them back together again. I pray that while you are down there in the depths, the only person that you have to keep you company is you. I pray that you choose to gather up all the pieces, and with no idea in how or what order, then you begin to put them back together, one by one, just right. I pray for foundations mightier than the Acropolis, an inner light that shines so bright it dazzles the corneas of anyone who cannot handle your bright. I pray for skin as comfortable as a 10-year-old tracksuit on a Saturday night, an inner light so bright that you can always find your way home. And I pray for the triumph of your soul and the return of you. And I love that one. And it literally says right next to it, the world needs you cracked open. And there's a quote from Leonard Cohen, there's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. And Rebecca invites us to be wide open, be cracked open. And it's in the difficult times that help us to grow leaps and bounds in ways that we could only possibly dream. And it's true, because right now in the depths, in the dark, in the rough middle of winter and Mercury retrograde, there's a lot of opportunities to be cracked open, and there's a lot of fear rising, and there's a lot of conflict, and there's a lot of energies where we are being forced to kind of go into our own shells and our own vessels.
Yeah. And I mean, I've been cracked open 1,000 times, and I'm very, very, very grateful for it. And I feel like it's important to say too that all fear, I think the HVAC guys are here.
Okay. Dani has some maintenance. Do you have to drop off or can you come back? Awesome.
I think I have to go because they're going to come in and replace it.
That's okay. You drop off.
Going to bark the whole time.
And I will wrap this up. Okay. And we will send Dani and Bruce love. And for everybody else who's sticking around, thanks.
Love y'all. This is how you just roll with it. This is how you just roll with it.
This is real life. This is what we do. Unedited. Laters. Thanks, Dani. Bye.
Bye.
So Dani's gonna drop on off. And the cool thing that is going on with all of this, let me see if I can mute Dani. So the cool thing that's been going on with all of this and with this energy that's rising right now is we have an opportunity to build some new foundations. We have an opportunity to step more into our soul, to honor these darker things that are kind of coming up into us and to honor the fears that are coming. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to know that there's things that we don't know about. It's okay to build trust. It's okay to sit in our feelings and acknowledge them. A lot of the time, what happens with fear is it's inviting us to be curious about something. It's inviting us to something that's going to expand our soul. And a lot of times we're just kind of afraid to look at it. So if you can do something, whether it's you're afraid to drive and you say, okay, I'm going to maybe drive around the block today. And you just do one little thing at a time that helps to start to take a look at your fears, that invites you to sit with them a little bit. It will change so much in you. And so just know that you're not alone. Fear is rising in a lot of people right now. It's happening all over. And this conflictive energy, it's meant to teach us. It's meant to help grow us, expand us, to soften us into love. If you have a fear of something, maybe ask yourself why. Is this coming from something that happened before? Is this coming from a judgment of what other people think or might think? Is this coming from a fear of a lot of times, a lot of our fears come from being afraid of being hurt or sick or dying. So it's important to look at where it's coming from and let go and let yourself feel safe and comfortable. Just yesterday, Louise Hay has a calendar that they put out every year on behalf of her with her affirmations. And it was, I let go of my childhood fears. I am a secure and empowered human being. A lot of times just talking to ourselves, allowing ourselves to reprogram, allowing ourselves to have a different conversation with ourselves. It's so easy to let the fears play over and over again. It's so much harder to become aware of it and say, oh, I'm playing that old script again. I'm feeding into this energy that isn't quite serving me. So what can I do? What can I do to practice a pause, to take a breath, to pull my power back and maybe not feed the fears as much? Maybe feed my dreams, maybe invest some time into what it is I want to co-create for myself in the future, whether that's dropping on a yoga mat, going for a walk, getting creative, organizing your place, learning something new. I'm someone who kind of thinks we don't really have much of an excuse in this lifetime to be bored. Almost every person has, a smartphone with internet capabilities or books around them or people to learn from. And there's always something that we can learn. And if we ask the angels and we ask spirit to guide us, to use us, to show us the way, they will lead us down the most magical rabbit holes that bring us so much joy and so much fulfillment. And sometimes that can be a little bit of a bridge or a distraction to fear and anxiety and to help you come back into that center and that 0 point that we're all wanting. So this was just a little mini dose of Unchurched with myself and Dani Marshburn. She had to run, but please give us a like, a share, a follow. We're so excited that you tuned in, and we're going to have many more episodes of Unchurched coming. Unchurched is just a container to sit with our spirituality and to look at all the different possibilities and all the things that show up in order to heal us, to grow us, and to hold us. So thanks again. We are Sea Goddess Healing Arts, and we can't wait to hold more space.